right, we are back, JE Live. Well, this week I'm bringing on my guy Zim, who has the Cincinnati podcast, a big Bengals guy in the community. He knows his football. We had some great times talking Bengals Rams during the Super Bowl week. 0-2, most teams I'd be a little concerned, but not this Bengals team. I think they obviously have an excuse, and they looked pretty good down the stretch. They probably should have beaten the Baltimore Ravens, if you ask me. The Browns, I think everybody and their mother was rooting for them against the Browns, but that whole game, that just nothing went right there. But I mean, we got to obviously address the elephant in the room here. Joe Burrow, who, in my opinion, he's the second best quarterback when healthy in the league. But he's not healthy. And it's been known for a while that he's not healthy.
But a lot of his game is predicated on being mobile. And I thought like later in that game where he got hurt, it just makes him not a top 2 quarterback in the NFL. It makes him a top 8, top 7 quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
A big part of Joe Burrow's game is him improvising and stretching out plays. And in the Browns week 1 game, it was so evident to me. I'm like, they're just playing a quick game. Everybody's just like, oh, like, you know, Browns defensive line. I'm like, yeah, they're really good, but this guy isn't moving at all. And so going into week 2, I'm like, okay, he's still practicing. No re-aggravation or nothing like that. But I'm telling everybody around me, I'm like, bro, I don't think he's right. So he plays the full game in the Ravens game. Like you pointed out, the second half, I thought he played a lot better. They limited us to 7 possessions. That's a whole nother conversation. I thought he bounced back pretty well. He throws the bad pick. He doesn't throw the pick. Maybe we win. But aside from that, you know, him re-aggravating, he just said it was sore and all these different things. We go into this week. Monday, he doesn't do anything. Tuesday, he doesn't do anything. We get to Wednesday, he goes limited. Thursday, he goes limited again, but he's throwing and running. Friday, he goes in, he's running again, and he's doing some stuff. So he's still saying he's sore. Saturday, here we are today, full. So, but the rumor is, or they're putting out all these stories, that he's going to be inactive.
At what point do you feel like Joe Mixon needs to kind of step up and take put the team on his back? Because it's like, I mean, hey, we stuck by you, you know, all the like the menacing stuff out there, whatever legal stuff, we stuck by you. And it's like, I didn't see enough out of Joe Mixon. And I think he has a shot in this game because the Rams are starting a 6'4", 310-pound edge defender. So I think, you know, obviously a guy, he has great mobility, but like Joe Mixon gets to that edge and he could do some damage. But I feel like either him or like Chris Evans or like Chase Brown, someone has to step up if Joe, like it shouldn't be all on Joe Burrow. Am I crazy for thinking that?
It's got to be that way. And a lot of times we've changed our game plan to kind of work off of that. We'll get a lead on somebody and then limit the possessions. Like a big function of the Bengals for the last 2 years is the defense. And the defense itself limits people's possessions and it gets you off the field. And then the way that Joe Burrow, most of the teams that he's playing is playing cover 2. So you got to think it's a lot of underneath. Maybe take a shot. You know what I mean? But that's how we do. And we just limit. Like when we play Josh Allen versus when the Dolphins play Josh Allen, they gave him 14 possessions. When the Bengals played the Bills, they gave him 8 possessions and said, I dare you not to make a mistake. And that's really the game plan. And a lot of it is on Joe Mixon running. When we had P. Ron last year, it was a lot on that. Our Bengals community constantly talk about ad nauseum having the run game being a bigger proponent of winning games than what it really truly is. And a lot of times we're throwing in games that you don't really have to, primarily in division. And in this particular game, to me, this is another game where you have to change your identity. I don't think that Zach Taylor is one of the best coaches in football. I don't. I think he's a really good communicator of men. I think he's a great customer service agent. He's not an elite play caller. But what he does do is manage injuries, manage people around him, the way that we handle Jamar's injury, the way all these, he gives people extra breaks. What he has to do, though, is get into his McVay, get into his Shanahan, get into his whatever, create a game plan that says that I'm going to outsmart you at these points. And offensively, I'm going to take it to you in the manner that I want to take it to you. And I'm not going to allow you to dictate what I do. If he could do that, then I think he'll be fine. And you don't need to play Joe Burrow, because that's another thing. I'm one of the guys that I don't want Joe Burrow to play Monday night. I really don't think he should play Monday night. And if your coach, it's not by luck you got to a Super Bowl. It's not by luck that you went to an AFC Championship game. You're good enough to scheme up a game plan for 1 week. All I'm asking for is 1 week to say, hey, look, we're going to change our identity this time. We got a quarterback they haven't seen in Jake Browning. He's a lot more mobile. He can run. Maybe you feed off of that RPOs and run. We've done it before. We did it with Ryan Finley, Brandon Allen, guys like that, and we won games like that. So I'm just hoping that they do something like I'd rather them do that than roll out Joe Burrow on a Monday night, then come back a short week, and then he's got to play again. I don't know.